had so much fun whilst being so bad for each other's existence. If only that were it is the case. Tell you who's next on the programme.
Everybody be cool. This is an interview. He's the King of New York, who we've been loving unlimitedly for the past 30 years. His memoir, The Fun Lovin Criminal, is out now. So let's say Guten Morgen to Huey Morgan.
Nice!
Morgan.
All right,
Morgan.
Huey, how are you? Absolute legend. How are you, mate?
I'm great, dude. Thanks
You
for
are
having me
great.
on.
He's great. Huey's great. Round of applause for Huey being
Thank
great.
you.
Come on.
G-R-E-A-T, baby.
Oh. Ex-Marine Huey Morgan has written a book. It's called The Fun Lovin Criminal. It's so good. Look at my notes,
I
Huey.
know. I'm really flattered
Look
that
at
you got a
mine.
chance to read it,
oh
man.
my gosh, I read it cover to cover. I devoured it.
Thank you.
I love it. I love you. Is it true that you size every man up the moment you see a new guy and you just can't help yourself and it's down to your Marine time?
Well, yeah. It's one of those things that they train you to do. Once they get you to a point where you know how to, once you get to a point where you know how to do certain things, they train you to kind of go through that thought process.
And you can't help yourself now.
Well, I can help myself now, absolutely. Yeah, there are points where I couldn't.
So you're over it?
Yeah, well, I'm not over it, but it's there and it's in the back pocket.
You sized anybody up this morning? You sized Frank up who came to get you?
No, you got a great T-shirt on, though,
He's
man.
got a great
Yeah,
T-shirt.
it's
By the
Jimi
way, he
Hendrix,
loves
baby.
you. We all
Right
love, one more round of applause for the fact we all love Huey Morgan, the Fun Lovin Criminal. Seriously, if you want to read the rock and roll book, you got to get this book in your life. Huey Morgan, The Fun Lovin Criminal, a memoir. Other memoirs are available. There's more memoirs available from you because this is just the beginning, my friend.
Yeah, this kind of takes place in a short period of time, about 2 or 3 years. By the time I get out of the Marine Corps, until the band starts taking off, where you can Google me at that point.
Yeah. Okay. So the first gig's in there. There's talk of U2 and there's a support tour in there. Loads of. I got all the questions here. I
Cool.
got all. You could test me on this book, right? Seriously, I know more about this book than the whole of my school career.
You know, I'm flattered, man.
No.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I'll go in with one. I'll go in with one question.
Yeah, sure.
Here's my first question. All right.
Okay.
When were you most nervous? The first time you knew you were going to meet Lemmy, your hero, or one of your heroes, or the first time and the only time that I know of, you were told you were going to have a sit down with a mob boss because of a song you wrote?
Well, obviously the latter. I mean, Lemmy was lovely, and I describe him in the book as one of the loveliest men I've ever met. And the fact that he used his reputation as in a funny way with me in the scene that I describe in the book.
Tell us more about that.
Well, you know, he kind of sits me down and says, "Oh, you want to be in the rock and roll business, huh?" And we have a drink off. Unbeknownst to me, I'm the only one having the drink off.
Yeah.
And he was a really lovely guy, and I'd met him since.
He did to you what you did to me.
What? Come on, man. I was telling the story to the lady from my publishers about
Yeah.
you with that private bar at that Ivor Novello Awards. We were like, "Come with me for a second."
Yeah, I know. Come with me for a second. Look how I hang. But it's funny because you just want you just want your peers to think you're okay, don't you? You just want to be accepted by your peers.
Well, I think it starts off with me really having an issue with making connections with people.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's what music initially was there for me. It was the catalyst for me to connect with other people. When you don't have a father around, and I talk about that in the book, it makes you a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have that in common who have that kind of weird upbringing. So, yeah, I think that's kind of where it all came from.
It isn't it? Because we were talking yesterday to Peter Crone, who's this brilliant mindset coach.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're talking about loneliness. You know, being alone is different to being lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can hold somebody's hand, that one hand is the beginning of the rest of everybody else. Because you're either alone or you're not. And if you're in the company of 7.2 billion people or one person, you're in the company of a person or some people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, you're on your own. Yeah. And sometimes if there's not a hand there to be held, you can hold a guitar, which is the beginning of music's hand, which is all beautiful, isn't it? And it all works. And that's why music is so powerful, especially on vinyl or cassette in our bedrooms like it used to be.
Oh, yeah. It connects with us on a really, visceral level. And I think one of the things I love about radio is that it's so intimate. Like, you can be in any type of situation in your life, and the radio's there, and it can connect with you.
God bless you, Huey Morgan. God bless Huey Morgan. Come on. He's given us the wonder of the wireless.
Other Huey Morgans are available.
Let's hope not. Well, if they are, we don't care. Right, so meeting the mob boss, for people who don't know. So you wrote a song.
Yeah, I wrote a song, and I was kind of loosely associated with a group of people who were involved in that world. And when the song came out, those people were concerned for me, and they said, "Hey, dude, you might want to just check this out with a couple guys downtown." And when I did, they said, "Well, we really need to have it wasn't technically a sit down because sit downs happen between people who are equals. I was not an equal in that one at all. It was more of they wanted to see what I was about, and because of the things that happened in the book with my first wife, they understood that I was a man of integrity, and it wasn't a matter of me trying to get over or trying to say something bad about John in that particular song, but more of keeping his legend alive. Let's put it that way. And they allowed me that consideration.
How long did that sit down last?
Gosh, it felt like it was 4 days, probably sitting back. It was weird writing it, and this whole book was written at night around 2 a.m. next to my sleeping wife. So I was having all these crazy moments.
Flashbacks.
Well, yeah, and it was really strange because I realized that in retelling it and typing it all out, I had sweat through my T-shirt because it was that unnerving to go back. And it's weird because writing this book was strange, dude, because it's like going in a room you haven't been in 30 years. You flip the lights on and you don't get to check what you see. You see everything. Stuff you don't want to put in the book. Stuff you go, oh, all right, maybe. And, that was for me the biggest challenge. But it was really a good thing to do. At my age, my state in my life, it was a thing I had to do.
And well remembered. Were there diaries or was it just memory?
It was just memories because I've been writing fiction for a long time, and my literary agent was like, "Hey, look, man, you should do this book." And I told him how the parameters I wanted to do. He said, "Write it as you write your fiction, so it gets people into it like when you write your fiction." So in the narrative of it is in the style that I write normally, and you can hear turns of phrase where you may be reminiscent of some of the songs I wrote as well, because all the songs are technically stories, 2,000, 3,000 words that I whittled down to 3 verses.
The dialogue in it is so snappy. There's loads of dialogue. It's 50-50 dialogue narrative, I think. It's absolutely fantastic. So there's the superstar in the book is Joyce. Yeah. So who is Joyce?
Joyce was a professor at NYU in the psychology department who was the instructor of a girlfriend of mine who had written her dissertation unbeknownst to me about my mental health challenges. And this lady, upon reading this dissertation, was like, "Yo, we need to get this guy some help. He needs a handheld, Yeah. So she, in the book, I'd say, well, she told my girlfriend, like, I want to meet this guy, and we started, our journey together, where she helped me out almost initially in a way that I had never thought I could change the way I thought. And that's one of the things I think. That's really important. You're talking about the heroes. I guess the antagonists in the book as well is, we have the mafia, we have the music industry, which are pretty much one and the same. And then we have my mental health, right, which is a thing that I thought were just the cards that I was dealt, man, that I couldn't change anything about anything, and I just had to learn how to deal with it. And when she showed me that I could, through speaking and breathing and a whole bunch of other things, change the way my mind worked, and that
stayed with you. She stuck with you. Stuck by you.
She married my wife now, Becky. She married the both of us in her office in Manhattan.
Is she still around?
Yeah, she's still around.
Oh my gosh. So you talk about your ADHD, which comes in all sorts of flavors and sauces.
Indeed it does.
Can you speak to yours a bit?
Yeah, mine's fruit twist, I think, is the flavor they gave me. One of the things I realized, I have children, and when they get tested for things of that nature, and you're standing in the background, you're going, "Oh, they don't have that, but that's me, like right up the middle." And I started realizing things about myself, and also one of the things I realized is that in a lot of cases, ADHD is not a bug, but it's a feature. And I used it as a feature because I wasn't told it was a bug my whole life. So when I would be able to do deep dives into music and learn different modes and go into guitar world for 7-8 hours, I was allowed to do that because my mind was conditioned to do that kind of stuff. But if I didn't like something, I wouldn't.
Because when I first met you, when we first started hanging out together, I always remember how super clever you were, and it used to really intimidate me. Because I was, we were partying, weren't we? And we were the worst for wear, but you still held it together. And I remember, and we were
a lot of that was iced tea. That's why.
No, I don't think so. But we were at the peak of our powers as far as having fun, whatever that means, was concerned. But I do remember thinking, geez, you were always on it, and I just felt like sometimes when we we're having conversations, total paranoia, and probably truthful fact as well, that I was, oh no, he's losing interest in what I'm saying. Well, that's because what you're saying isn't very interesting, you idiot. So I was having all these conversations, but you're also sharp. You have a big old brain. You say here, Joyce took this one story, and in the middle of it says, Joyce took this as a cue to get me off the X, in inverted commas. What's the X?
The X, well, it's a military term, meaning the place that you should not be. Now, X marks the spot. I think that pretty much says it. So if you're on the X, that means you're taking fire in this particular instance. So she got me out of the fire and put me in some cover and allowed me to get out of fight or flight and start thinking about stuff.
What a wonderful human being.
Oh, God, yeah.
And how many times did she help you to get off the X, and what kind of X's were they? And do you have any tools that you can share with the listeners?
Well, a lot of the things that we spoke about that really stayed with me was, I mentioned it in the book, there's that phrase, this too shall pass. And a lot of that happens when you do a lot of breathing. And, I'm still not free of anxiety. And I think the idea of being able to breathe and center yourself and find a place in you that's the comfortable place where there you can think clearly. Because a lot of the instances that I've had with my mental health kind of becoming overwhelming with, stress and whatever, is because I haven't taken the chance to really breathe. And I think that's one of the things that really helps.
It's so true. It's so true. We literally forget to breathe for years.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be completely mindful of your breathing, and there's something happens, you react to it, and you're snapped out of your mindfulness for days.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why you need to meditate every day, or do something every day. Even get your phone to go off at 10 o'clock every day. Because once we're on the roller coaster, we don't know we're on the roller coaster.
Indeed.
I know people who've been mindful, met somebody, reacted to that meeting for all the right reasons, then got married and not been mindful again for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's how it happens, isn't it?
It is a lot of work to do that. And I think that's one of the things Joyce instilled in me was a discipline to kind of concentrate on this.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've realized through meditation is that our subconscious is a completely different animal.
Oh my gosh.
And if we can tap into that through meditation or hypnotherapy, we can get everybody on the same side, and you'd be so surprised how your life can shift for the better if those two things are aligned.
Well, it's like sawing a piece of wood with the grain, as opposed to against the grain.
That's a perfect example of it.
It's like growing tomatoes, in Portugal as opposed to, I don't know, the Highlands of Scotland. It's the environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
You take your steer from the environment that you're in, and if you're having trouble, then the best thing you can do is change your environment. Which is why loads of people who suffer from addiction or getting clean and sober, I'm clean and sober now for 3 years. Their life is riven with what they call geographics.
Yeah.
Just moving and moving and moving. The problem is wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah, that's exactly
it's
it.
the inside out job, isn't it? How are you? Do you still have a beer and stuff
I
nowadays?
haven't drank in about 5 years.
Same.
Too. I was running the pandemic, and I realized this. I wanted to see if I could really put it down, because it seemed like it was a thing that was like, wow, 7 o'clock can't come soon enough.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it was one of the things that when I kind of stopped drinking, I realized a whole bunch of other things in my life turned around. Because, you prioritize the release, but you don't understand that what you're releasing might be something that shouldn't be released. Maybe it's something that needs to be digested. You know what I mean?
100%.
And our problems, I think a lot of times we like I talk about it, the analogy that Joyce has is that we have this knapsack or this backpack, and in our younger years, we throw all these things into it and we don't look where they land. And then by the time we get into middle age, it really digs into our back. And the best thing we can do for ourselves is to look into it. We can't get rid of anything, but we can look into it and arrange it so when we put the back on, it doesn't dig into us and hurt us as much as it did before.
Yeah, I'm 2.5 years, and yesterday I had such a busy day, so I did the show, and then I had a really busy day of stuff that was really important to me, and I've always said this: you got to get curious about things that you have shied away from in the past, the things you need to confront.
Yeah,
confront is a very it's a confrontational word. It's called confront, but yesterday I did it, and I have never done it before, Huey, ever. And yesterday there was a couple of things that would have made me feel sick in the past. I thought, I'm just going to go and enjoy this situation, and it was great. And that's all because I'm clean and sober, because it comes from the weekends of walking in the park and going to the woods and drinking fizzy water and eating healthy food and having all the fun early in the morning as opposed to late at night trying to chase the day.
Or wasting or cheating yourself out of those hours in the beginning of the next day that you're dragging ass.
Oh, my God.
Can I say dragging ass on the radio?
Yeah.
All right, good. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for not swearing thus far. By the way, congratulations on your appearance on Times Radio the other
that dude
day.
asked for it, man. That dude asked for it, man. He totally did.
Yeah, got it.
I don't even know who dude is.
We're talking to Huey Morgan. Huey Morgan, the Fun Lovin Criminal and memoir. Huey's a great guy. I love the bones of the guy, and I love this book. Tell us about being a New Yorker, because this book screams New York. And I'd written the question down first of all, and then about a chapter and a half on, you describe somebody as a true blue New Yorker, and I thought, oh, good, because that gets me in.
Yeah, well, I guess the idea of a New Yorker is someone who understands that New York is never going to be what everybody wants it to be. It is what it is, right? There's that great line in The Deer Hunter. It is what it is. Give them your boots, right? And it's one of those things where I go back to New York. I don't live in New York full time anymore. When I go back, I still am very nostalgic. I'm thinking when I go back, I'm going to go to the same place I went to 22 years ago.
Change, my
friend. And it's completely different. Obviously, we have a lot of younger people with different values and different musics and that thing happening in New York as well. And all the cool places we used to go and hang out, they're not there anymore. And, as I joke about being a boomer now, we kind of are, right? So we go to places, and because, I don't drink and you don't drink, we go to places now and we're like, let's go to the Guggenheim.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's walk through Central Park. Is there a pub on the way? No.
It's great.
But you get to see and do all these things that, I wasted 25 years.
No, you didn't waste it because you wouldn't.
I'm just saying I wasted my tourist time in New York City.
Defensive then on both our behalves.
I went to, I never went to the top of the World Trade Center, man.
Yeah. It was funny because I was thinking about you. I've been thinking about you the whole time since you were coming on the show. Then I read the book, and this morning I was driving in. I was thinking about our years. People talk about Lennon's lost weekend. We had a lost decade or two.
Yeah.
Good luck, John. Should have joined our crew for a while. And I was thinking, how can you mitigate it? How can you validate it? And you'll do anything I will do anything to validate it, right? Because I'm not going to say we wasted them, right? I'm going to say that I was waiting for all the right sperms to be in all the right places to give us the 4 kids we got today. Because had we have done anything different, those children wouldn't be those children. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to go with.
And I was in a holding pattern until I met my wife. Yeah, good stuff,
exactly.
Man. Yeah, no, but things do happen for a reason.
What if that was the reason?
Well, our journeys, right? I mean, be them separate, right? They only make sense looking back on them.
Yeah.
There's I forgot the guy's name, but he's a Danish philosopher. I've been in a lot of these Danish dudes lately. I'm not too sure why, but they have a really practical way of looking at things that I kind of find a little stoic, right?
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, we live our lives and we're going through these serpentine motions and through these mazes and, well, why did I go there? Why did I do this? And then we get to this point and we look back going, well, thank God there was a plan.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't think there was at the time.
So the best way of phrasing that is you can only join the dots going backwards. You can't join the dots going forwards, because if you could, then we'd all do it. By the way, where would the fun be?
Yeah. Well, the whole idea is that this is a ride, man. Bill Hicks said it, man. Enjoy it. We bought the ticket.
Ride the rainbow.
Indeed, my friend.
We love riding the rainbow.
Learn how to surf.
And the Scandis have got it anyway. The Scandis are down. That's why you get into the Danes.
Yeah.
Everything leads to Scandinavia. They talk about
all things lead.
All roads emanate from Greece, right, via Rome. Yeah. But everything leads to Scandinavia. You got to get Scandi in your life. Seriously, I'm all over the Scandi. I love the So what is a true?
I'll go to the Scandinavian Pavilion over there tonight.
Yeah, in years gone by, you'd say, no, we're down with this. Is there the Scandinavian Arms? Can we go there for a beer? That's what we'd be doing. Right, let's get on to the first ever Fun Lovin Criminals gig.
Yeah.
First night, first gig, and then I want to fast forward to your first night with U2, because it couldn't have been. I mean, talk about two extremes of the same show. Yeah, off you go on.
Well, the first gig we did at the Limelight was a birthday party.
Where was the Limelight? Blah, blah, blah.
Sorry, yes, the Limelight was a nightclub in New York City on 6th Avenue.
Was it a super club?
No, it was one of those super clubs, but it was a converted church, so it was deconsecrated. I believe.
So super clubs were these huge.
Yeah, you get 2,000 or 3,000 people in these clubs, and this one was this huge kind of abbey of sorts. So there was a huge area where where the parishioners would be was the main room, and there were all these different rooms off to the side.
Wow.
Well, there was a subculture called club kids in the 90s with the platform shoes and the kind of anime hair, and everybody's androgynous, and it was really kind of wild, listening to techno music and ambient stuff. And this girl who was one of those people was friends with one of the guys in the band and said, play my birthday party. So we said sure, and in between all this techno madness, they stopped the music and then we started playing. And we were pretty sure that they were going to throw stuff at us and just be really displeased to say it like that. And it was the opposite. They really enjoyed what we played, and we couldn't believe it, frankly, because we didn't think that this would be the type of people who would like our music. First ever gig. And
wow.
one of the things about it is we had a version of the Lottie Dottie Free John Gotti song. It was called King of New York, but it was a different verse, but the chorus was there. And by the end of it, they're singing it back to us because everybody's from New York. Everybody knows this guy. So we knew that there was initial connections there that we made. And because we had worked in these nightclubs, we knew what real good low-end bass is needed because the techno bass was really there. So we put that in our music. It was regular guitar bass, but it had that low-end punch that they wanted. So we gave them, and I mentioned that we gave them the sonic diet they wanted, but just on a different dish, and they went for it. And taking that kind of hybrid of music and then pushing it out to where U2 had us play. And it was, I think the story was Larry Mullen heard the record and then told the rest of the guys, these are the dudes, get them on. And I had played for a couple hundred people before that. And now we're going out and playing in front of 60,000 people. And
there's a different stagecraft required.
Yeah, and like I mentioned in the book, I think I go into a heavy detail with the anxiety that I was going through. It's like, how is this going to scale up? And I realized that it wasn't really about me. And there was a book I read called A Separate Reality by Carlos Castaneda. It's a really kind of trippy book. And in that, he discusses perception and perspective. And I think that's exactly what I try to teach my kids. Because if you can do that, you're ahead of 99% of the other people on the planet. And I said, well, instead of me worrying about what a guy on stage in front of U2's fans is doing, what do U2's fans want to hear from an opening act for 45 minutes? So I took that approach, and immediately, like you said, when you take yourself off the X, you're no longer the focus. And it made me realize that, yeah, I can do this, but I have to, make a plan. And in the book, I talk about the plan I make.
Yeah, I mean, lots of things made me laugh out loud. One of the things,
because you're a very funny guy. If you're laughing, I'm on something. No,
seriously. One of the things that made me laugh was when you said, so I'm hearing your voice. So we're asked to play with U2, and we agreed to play with U2, and then I suddenly realised there isn't a book on how to play with U2.
How to entertain the multitude.
That's such a funny thought. There's recipe books for there's maintenance books for cars. Yeah. You're like, excuse me, going to the bookshop. Excuse me, you don't have a book on how to play with U2, do you?
But dude, Chris, that's what I would do if I didn't understand something.
No, I know.
I'd go buy 6 books on it from every different perspective and gain some kind of working understanding of it. So that was literally my go-to thing.
So now you could write the book on how to play with U2.
Maybe I could.
Because other small bands are going to have to support massive acts.
Yeah, it's true.
For as long as music lasts, which I presume is going to be.
How to support a huge rock band by Huey Morgan. Yeah.
How funny that! And also, it's quite, it's
practical.
It's practical. It's purposeful.
Staying in the nonfiction area as well.
It's required. It's amazing.
I could be doing another public service. I like that.
For me, there's lots of superstars in there, but you're very nice about everybody. You're very honest about people. I'm sure you pulled a few punches because you don't need to learn those because it's not fair on people and they haven't got a right to reply.
Well, yeah, and also I loved people at that point, didn't I?
Yeah. You did 100%. You love people. The whole third thing.
Yeah.
To do the contract. Look at your face. Your face has changed completely. I didn't know that. Anyway, you got to read the book. We're talking about. So Huey wrote most of the songs and most of the music, and then he said to his bandmates,
I don't write most of the music, but I did write all the lyrics, and I did a third of the music. No, it's cool, but yeah.
A third. And they said, why? I wouldn't do that if I was you. He said, because I want us to be committed and in this together. That's a great.
I wanted to start a family. Yeah.
Amazing part of the book. Now, so Joyce is a star. You are obviously the centre of everything. And then there's another guy, Mike Schnapps.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Schnapps, I've never heard of Mike Schnapps before. Yeah. He reads like such a mensch.
He is.
I've got look, goosebumps.
He's great.
Give us a minute on this guy called Mike Schnapps.
Mike Schnapps is obviously a very, very awesome man who I speak about affectionately in the book. He was the guy who signed my band. He was the A&R guy for EMI when I got signed. But before that, he was the head of promotion, I think, at Epic Records, and I think at another record company, I'm not too sure. And he worked with everybody, Pearl Jam, Ozzy, Rage Against the Machine, all these bands that were coming up in that time. And he was a metalhead. And he looked a lot like Rick Rubin. He had a big, long beard and long hair and wore a baseball hat. And he was very loud, spoke like this. Hey, how you doing, guys, over there? And... But being that gregarious, he was always had this, and I mentioned in the book, he had always this super personable approach to people, just respect all the way down the line, and he was a super mensch. And he was one of the guys who really saved me when I was a starving artist. Right when he signed me, he had an expense account, and he'd take me out to dinner. He'd buy me cigarettes. It was one of those things.
Yeah, and everybody you met of any note, that he usually introduce you to, the first thing they said was, just in case you didn't know, they just underlined how great a guy this guy was that had just introduced you to them.
Yeah.
And they also, it's like Lemmy was, they're saying, oh, this guy, this guy.
Yeah.
And then you'd meet somebody else, a really famous person.
To
Go,
this day,
this guy. It's like, what is it about this guy?
Well, try walking out of a nightclub with this guy. Yeah,
He got you in places. He got you out of places.
Yeah. And he was one of the guys who saved my life. You know, he actually encouraged me along the lines, because we didn't have a manager in the beginning. We had this manager, this ersatz manager that we talk about, and he leaves the situation, and then it's just me pretty much talking to the label, and then talking to the guys in the band. So I was kind of the middleman, and Mike acted as a pseudo manager for us while working as the A&R guy for the label. So his fine line walking was just amazing, and the way he comported himself. I mean, he's just a great guy, but he helped so many people. Like, I went to see an Ozzy Black Sabbath show years and years ago.
Yeah.
He brought me backstage. Sharon Osbourne saw him, yelled,
Yeah, Sharon gets his. It's all in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you need a music lawyer.
Yeah.
No better lawyer to have, right, than the son of the most influential man in music in the world, Clive Davis. Who's Clive Davis for people who don't know?
Clive Davis is the founder of Arista Records.
Right.
You know, Whitney Houston, Bruce Springsteen,
Big
many.
freaking deal.
Yeah, one of the huge moguls of American music. Yeah.
Led Zeppelin. Springsteen,
yeah.
Bring It On.
Yeah.
His son happened to be a music lawyer.
Yep. But also happened to be the former head of A&R at the label I just signed to.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fred Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is 3 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what this is? This is the first season in a brand new Netflix show. I don't know what it's called, but I want to watch it.
Well, you know what? I think the way and this is interesting, because when I the books that I love most, when I read them, they allow me to create pictures in my head 100%. And movies in my head. And when I wanted to write this book, I wanted it to take that on as well. You could have a book that says, you know, I was born here, and then I did this, and then I went to school here. And that's okay. Books are like that. But I wanted this book to be a little bit more entertaining for people to read, and also to invoke that kind of idea of being in New York and having yourself...
I was there, man.
All right, cool, man.
It hits the ground running straight away. I thought,
awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah,
after the first page, I thought, I like cancelled everything, turned everything off. I thought, oh, no, this is a ride. I was expecting great things anyway.
Well,
but
that's nice.
It's a great book, man.
Dude, you're awesome for having me on, and thank you for being so nice. And on top of that, thank you for reading it, dude.
No, but thank you. You don't have to thank me.
No, but I do. I wrote this book to make connections. I'm still that 14-year-old kid. Yeah. And thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Don't, because you're going to get me tearing up.
You get me now.
What's going on with your wrist?
Cookie jar, man.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Cookie jar incident. Yeah, always. Cookie jar or cookie cutter. Yeah, brilliant. Huey Morgan, The Fun Lovin Criminal, a memoir. Buy it today.
Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Come on.